Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do multi-digit addition. By that we're talking about something like 24 plus 18. Okay, more than one digit in the add-ins. We're going to use a place value mat. We're also going to use the base 10 blocks for this activity. And the idea prior to doing this is the students have to be able to represent numbers with the base 10 blocks. So prior to this lesson, they should already know how to represent 18 with the base 10 blocks. They should also be able to make trades. In other words, they should be able to represent the number 24 in at least three ways with the base 10 blocks. Okay, so there's 24 there, 2 10s and 4 1s. You could also have 1 10 and 14 1s. And that's 24. And of course, just 24 1s. All right, so the idea of trades or regrouping, they should have that prior to this day's lesson. Okay, so now we've come to the point where we're going to add two-digit numbers together. The first thing I want to do is, the students know how to represent numbers like 24 on the base 10 block, because the 2 10s and 4 1s, they already know how to do this. Okay? And what I want them to do is I want them to take any kind of number, any kind of two digits like 24 and 13, place them on their base 10 mat, and then just add them. Just bring them together. In other words, they're going to do the addition here. They are not going to do it in the abstract. Okay? So they do the addition here. Most of them will probably bring the 10s together first, typically, and then the 1s. Okay, it's less likely that they bring the 1s together than the 10s, but that's okay. You're letting them do it however they'd like. Okay, if they need to make any trades, they can make any trades once they add those together. Okay, so you might have 24 and 13 without trades, and you might have problems like 18 and 37 with trades, where they go ahead and they add them together here, and then they make any trades that they want and bring the 10 over here. But they solve the problem here and they write the answer here. So in this case, when they did 24 and 13, they got 37. They figured it out with the base 10 blocks on the place value mat. Okay? Now comes the time, the formal time, that we are going to show them how to add on paper. Okay, because that's the ultimate goal, to add it our way. So they've been doing it freely. To set this up, we would want them to direct them to, like if we had 32, plus 24, we would direct them to add the 1s first. Always add the 1s first, okay? So bring the 1s together, and then bring the 10s together, okay? This is just do 1 or 2 practice exercises, because that's going to be important, because that's the way when we add on paper, we add the 1s first and the 10s. Okay, now we're going to actually learn how to add on paper. Translate their movements here to the paper here. So let's just say we have 32 and 24. Now, one of the problems with in a traditional classroom where you don't use the base 10 blocks is when we have to ask the students to add 32 and 24, we say add 2 and 4 together. And that's very confusing for students because this is 32, it's not 2. This is 24, it's not 4. And they don't understand how you can just take the 4 off the 24 part. It's all one thing here. Just like the word ball, you can't just take all off of it and put the B over here. All and B is not ball. Well, that's the way they look at this. Saying that, oh, its place value is very abstract, they really don't understand it. They can repeat you, and they can say, oh, its place value, and so you can take the 4 off because its place value. They don't understand it. They'll just give you that reason. And as soon as they stop understanding, that's when they start memorizing. That's when they aren't using the most powerful part of their brains that can reason and make sense of the math. They're using their imitating part of the brains. Okay? And that's not good. We want to keep them thinking at high levels. Okay? So how do we get them to see that you can take the 4 off of that and the 2 off of that? That's coming through the base 10 blocks. Okay? So they represent 32 and they represent 24. They're at this point where they add the ones first. And so I might have this on a document camera, and they would have these at their desk with the base 10 blocks and the base 10 mat. And I'd say, okay, what's the first thing we do? And they say we add the ones together. I'd say go ahead and do it, and they do it, and I say stop. And I might be having this on the document camera. So I say, okay, let's stop. And I go to the board and I'd say, where do you see those numbers here? Okay, and the idea is, where were the 2 ones and the 4 ones? Where did you get there's the 2 ones and there's the 4 ones. Okay, so you brought those together and you got 6, right? So you had 2 ones and 4 ones, and 2 plus 4 is 6. You see how I broke the 2 from the 32 and the 4 from the 24 in a very natural way. Okay? 2 ones and 4 ones, that's place value. Okay? So I'd say stop. Now you notice in this first set of when I'm making the transition from here to here, I'm doing it with no regrouping. That's all I'm working on right now, are problems with no regrouping. Okay, even though when I was letting them play with it and do it however they wanted, they had some regroupings, they had some without regrouping. Now, for this day's lesson, I'm doing no regrouping. Okay, when I make the transition from here to here, I'm going to start with no regrouping and then do regrouping later and making trades. So I chose a problem that didn't have it. So far, so good. They've added the ones. I say, where here are the ones? And they say, those are the ones over there. That's place value. What place here has the ones that you just added? Well, there are the 2 ones and there's the 4 ones. Okay, that's the ones place. That's place value. And so it's a natural outgrowth of this, them understanding what place value is. Okay, so I say, okay, what's the next thing you do? And they say, we add the 10s together. So we have the 3 and the 2 and that's 5. And I say, where's that in here? Is that this 2 here? Well, no, it's not that 2. Those are the ones. Again, place value. It's this 3 and this 2. Those are 3 10s and 2 10s. Those are 5 10s. And I get 56. Okay, so I could say, boy, I see some similarities here. From here to here, I see that first we add the ones, and then we add the 10s. And you see, again, I'm breaking apart these numbers into 1s and 10s in a very natural way where they understand it. Okay, so I said, let's try another problem. So maybe we have another one like 18 and 41. Let's make it, 28 and 41. So they have 28 and 41. And say, okay, what's the first thing that you do? We add the ones. 8 and 1 is 9. Where do you see that here? There they are. 8 and 1 is 9. I said, okay, what's the next thing you do? We have the 2 and the 4 10s. We get 6 10s. Where's that here? 2 and 4, 6. Okay, do you have 69? It says 69 here. Do you have 69? Yes, I do. Okay, so again, let's analyze this in terms of this here. The first thing you did, you added the ones. Where are the ones here? The 8 and the 1, and you got 9. And then you added the 10s. Okay, so now we're setting them up where maybe we do another problem. Again, using this, but we're making that translation. And now I want them to try it in the abstract first. So I'd say, okay, do this without the base 10 blocks and try and solve that one. So they go ahead and they add them together. If you're listening to them, they should be talking in terms of base 10 blocks. If they are talking or they're talking to each other, they'd say, okay, that'd be 4 little cubes and 3 little cubes, or 4 1s and 3 1s, and that's 7 1s. And then let's see, what's the next thing we did? Oh yeah, then we would go and we do the rods. We do the 10s. That'd be 1 stick or 1 10 and 2 10s. That's 3 10s. Okay, so I'd have them do it abstractly, and then I'd say, now check it with the base 10 blocks. Okay, because again, I believe this before I believe this, if I'm that age. Okay, and they check it. If there's any mistakes, any discrepancies, now they have a chance on their own to figure out what they did wrong. okay? Because they understand this, and they understand the connection between these two. As opposed to being taught in a traditional way where they would just raise their hand and they'd say, is this right? I don't know if it's right. Here they know if it's right. And then if they make a mistake, they have to say, okay, what did I do wrong? Can you show me? Here, if they do something wrong, they have a very good chance of figuring it out on their own. Okay? So now they can do it abstractly, check it concretely, and then we can just get rid of the blocks altogether. We can also do this, you can take this one step further and do it in terms of hundreds. Okay, so depending on the level of your group, what age you're working with, what grade you're working with, so 312, it's the same thing. Use the hundreds part. Okay, and again, they would add the ones first, and then you translate it over here and say, where are they at over here? 5 and 2 is 7. Okay, now go back here, add the tens. Where's that over here? 1 and 4 is 5. And then add the hundreds. So again, we're going from right to left, and then we're just translating those movements into the movements here, again, without regrouping. Okay, now we go to the part with regrouping, and it's the same general format. We're going to do it. Understand it with the base 10 blocks first, solve it with the base 10 blocks first, and just write the answer on paper, and then translate those movements onto the paper so we can solve it on paper. So if we have 24, and we have 17, so I could ask the students, okay, show me 24 plus 17. There it is, 24 and 17. Let's say, okay, what's the first thing you do? They say we add the ones, go ahead and do that. And they do that. And I ask them, can you make a trade here? Say, oh yeah, we have 11 ones, okay, so let's make a trade. And when they bring the 110 in, don't put it here, don't put it here. Here you direct them to put them at the top of the map. Okay? Because it's not part of the 24 and it's not part of the 17. It's up here. And it belongs in the tens column. It doesn't belong in the ones. Okay? So I say, where's that 11 again? I don't see 11. And they'll say, well, here it is. We traded it for the 110 and there's the 1. There's the 11 right there. All right? So now let's stop and let's look at what's going on over here. Okay? If we're ready to translate it, maybe at this point we aren't ready to translate. Let's do a few where we're just doing it this way here. Just getting them used to making the trade and bringing it up here. All right, so now we add this, now we add the tens, we add this one, and this one, and this one, I get 41, and I write the answer 41. So right now I'm solving the problem here with the base 10 blocks. Just getting used to the new procedure of having more than 10 or more here and making a trade and bringing it up here. So I do 1 or 2 more problems like that before we're getting ready to translate that to the movements here. Okay, so they solve the problems up here, they just write the answer right now. Okay, so now we come to the problem where we say, okay, let's try another one, 16 plus 29. Okay, so there we've got it, 16 to 29. That's what's the first thing we do, of course. There, we got to make a trade. Okay, so go ahead and do that, and then stop. So they make their trade, they put it at the top and say stop. Where's that over here? 9 and the 6, there's the ones we added, there's 15. But we're only left with 5 ones, and what happened to the 110? The 110 we put up here. So there's the 10 and there's the 5 of the 15. Just like here's the 10 and here's the 5 of the 15. Okay, now I'm starting to see the connection here between what's going on here and up here. Oh, I see, we add the 9, the 6, and 15, and we made one trade. We put the 110 up there, and the 15 is down there. Okay, and there's the 15. See, that idea of breaking apart 15 is very difficult for students in a traditional classroom, in which all you do is everything abstractly, where you do everything in the written format. However, here it makes sense. I can see the 15. Yeah, that's one of those 10s, and that's a 5, and that's 15. So when I added 9 and 6, I got 15. And you want to discuss this with the students. Say, okay, what's the next thing you do? Well, we add these together, and we get 4. And say, okay, where are those numbers here? There's 1, there's 1 at the top, there's 1, there's 2, and there's 4. Now we're translating to solving it abstractly. Okay, step by step. We want to do 2 or 3 problems like this. So maybe we do another one like 27 plus 25. 27 25. Say what's the first thing we do? Add those. We get 12. And we can make a trade. So we make our trade, and we put the 10 up there. Where's that here? There's a 7 and the 5 was there. We got 12. I say, well, I didn't write 12 here. What did I do? No, the 110 we put up here, and the 2 1s we left down there. I say, okay, I see. Because this is imitating that. So the 2 goes with the 1s, and these are the 1s, and the 110 goes there. And now what do? We add those. Where's that here? 1, 2, and 2. Okay. So do a few of them. Again, we're translating here, and then at some point where we've done maybe 3 or 4 of these problems, where we're doing step by step here, matching over here, we're going to give them a problem and ask them, try doing it in writing first, and then check it with the base 10 blocks. Okay, and again, as I walk around and listen to them, I should hear them saying, okay, it's 4 1s, 4 little cubes, and they might even be looking at these cubes, and 9 of those, so 9 and 4, that'd be 13 of those. Oh, I can make a trade, and I know I got to put the trade at the top of the mat, and if I make a trade, I'm left with 3. And then I have 1 of those sticks at the top, 3 sticks and 1 stick, or 1 10, 3 10s and 1 10, 5. I should have 53. And then they go and they check. And if they make a mistake here, they have a chance of catching it on their own. Very empowering. And math makes sense. They can figure things out on their own. I'm just facilitating. Okay? And if they make a mistake, like if they go 9 and 4, you bring the 9 and 4. Oh, I can make a trade. I'm going to put the trade up here. And then they go 1, 3, and 1, 4. Well, when they come over here and check it, they're going to say, wait a minute, I didn't end up with 4. I ended up with 43. You know, what happened here? You know, I did something wrong. Okay? And they'll look here. Oh, I forgot. Okay. They have a chance of catching it. But they know something's wrong because the answer here isn't matching what's on the paper. And that's what I always believe. So you let them do several problems, try it first in writing, and then move to the abstract. I'm sorry, to the concrete to check it. And eventually they won't need the concrete. And again, you can do this with 3 digits, you know, with regrouping, like 158 plus 274. Again, I would represent it with the base 10 blocks and let them do it step by step. 8 cubes and 4 cubes is 12 cubes, which means I can make a trade and I'm left with 2 cubes. Okay, so I'm left with 2 1s, which is what I would see up here. And then with the 110, the 5 10s, and the 7 10s, that'd give me 12 10s, which means I could make 10 of those 10s into a 100. And then I have 2 10s left. And then I'd go ahead and I'd add 1 of the traded, 1 and 1, 422. Okay, so it's the exact same process. I'd begin doing it with the base 10 blocks first and just writing the answer here. Do 2 or 3 with the trades. Okay, just getting used to making the trades and placing the trades at the top of the mat. And then I would begin to translate those movements step by step to this here. And then eventually I would say, try it here first in writing. and then check the base 10 blocks. So pretty much what we're doing is in this way of teaching, we're going from concrete to abstract. The students understand the concept. They understand why we're breaking apart these numbers and how we can just add the 8 and the 4 and not 158 and 274 all at the same time. They understand place value with this. They're able to use the higher levels of Bloom's. They're able to evaluate and analyze things, and the math makes sense to them.